Howdy, y'all. This is Notes 1.4 linear. We're going up to level 2 here. Just a reminder, zoom through the video, see if you can try the problem without me, check it out if you get it right. And I do apologize, but it does like to focus on whatever's closest to it, so it is going to focus and unfocus. So just listening is going to help you with writing stuff down if the focus is off. I try my best, but I have no idea how to make it do better. So, here we go. Miss Rolfe has 25 pencils the first week of school. Every week she loses 2 pencils walking through the hallway. She suspects Mr. Poskis is stealing them. How rude. So, let's make an XY table. X is always going to be about your time. And in this case, our time is about weeks. Okay? I mean, for the most problems, X is usually about your time. Unless you get to stats, then that's where stuff starts to get crazy. Y is going to be about our pencils. Okay? And it says she's got 25 pencils. All right. On that first week of school. Look at that. And then it says every week. Okay, every week. So that's adding by 1 thing, which means this would be 2. She loses 2 pencils. So losing 2 pencils is a subtracting thing, which means we got 23. All right, and it's always good practice not to have just 2 rows, but to give yourself a 3rd row. Let me write this in black. And that would be 3 and 21. Okay? In class, y'all chose to write the equation first. So in this case, we will write it. We got y equals. And then if you think about it, when you don't have to write what I'm about to write, but when we say anything, it's miles per hour. See how the time is last? Well, when you write it as a fractions, it's miles per hour. Okay? Same thing in a word problem. Even though it's pencils in weeks, it's pencils per week. It's what thing per the time. Okay, so she's losing 2 pencils per week. Okay, this is what's happening. This is the action. This is where we put our variable. And in this case, we're going to do a parentheses x. And then a lot of you might remember from Math 1. But see how we start with a time 0 here? I'm sorry, we start with a time 1 here. To make it a time 0, we would subtract 1, okay? It's because it didn't start with a time 0 that we have to put this minus 1 here, because we're trying to turn that into a 0 within our equation. And then we started with 25. Now, most ACTs, right? You ain't going to see -2/1. Is it right? 100% it's right. But you're not going to see it that way. You're actually going to see this as -2 times x minus 1 plus 25. This is how you'll see it. This is the way you need to know it. When you take your ACTs, when you're graphing, you got to understand that these are interchangeable. But this is the most pleasing to the eye. This is the one that you are going to see the most. All right. So let's graph this, right? We have pencils is going to be our y-axis. Weeks is going to be our x-axis. And it says at 1 week, we got 25 pencils. So I'm going to drop a dot there. At 2 weeks, we have 23 pencils. At 3 weeks, we got 21 pencils. And as you can see, the pattern is remaining the same. So what we're going to do is just continue that pattern all the way down. And if you're going, oh my gosh, how can you do that so fast? I've been doing this for 100 years. Don't be impressed. Now, I'm not going to connect these lines because maybe if you remember, but back in the day, we talked about discrete and continuous. Pencils is a discrete thing because we count it. It's not something we measure. All right. Number next. The level up, we got how many pencils will she have on week 11? Well, week 11 would replace the x in the equation. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write y equals -2. Replace the x with an 11. If you want to put a parentheses around it, that's fine. Whatever. Floats your boat. Plus 25. All right, and now the ACTs, right? You can do this the long way, totally fine. Whatever makes your heart happy, but you can just type this whole thing into a calculator. Exactly how you see it though. All right? Don't be confused. You need these parentheses, especially the black ones. All right? You need to type it in exactly like this into your calculator. And this is going to give us, give me a second, 5. All right, and this is pencils, right? Because it was talking about week 11, so obviously it has to be pencils as our answer here because that's what we are figuring out. It's the question. There it is. All right, let's simplify. We got y equals negative 2x minus 1 plus 25. Distribute, we get y equals negative 2x plus 2 plus 25. My handwriting does like to switch up. No judgment needed. And then combine like terms, which you guys were rocking in class. Love that for you. All right, number next. Mrs. J has 40 pencils on the first week of school, and every 2 weeks she loses 3 pencils. You know what? We're going to make a life change here. I want you guys, instead of first week, and hopefully I'll have this typo fixed for the next year or the next time, I want you to put 2. All right, every 2 weeks she loses 3 pencils walking through the hallway. She suspects Mr. J is stealing them. How rude. Here we go. X and Y mean the same thing as last time. We got X is our weeks and Y is our pencils. This time she starts with 40 pencils, and we're going to make that life change here because I just want the math to look beautiful. And we're going to have second. And then it says every 2 weeks. Okay, so that means we are continuing every 2. She's losing 3 pencils. That means we are subtracting 3 if she's losing them. So that means my next pair is going to be 4 and 37. And my next pair, because again, you should at least have 3, we got 6 and 34. So we write our graph here. Once again, see if you can figure this out before I say it. The slope, or combining our math for the x and our math for the y, is negative 3 over 2. She's losing 3 pencils every 2 weeks. And then we got parentheses x, and this time, right, she started on the second day. So that's, again, not a 0. So to turn a 2 into a 0, we would subtract 2. And this is a very old Math 1 concept. It's something you learned in the first handful of weeks of Math 1. So dust off the notebook, look back, see if you got it. Now in this one, what's kind of nice is that this is a fraction that you would see, so we don't have to worry about maybe seeing a different version, other than maybe this would change into a decimal, but I don't think so. All right, let's graph this. We got 2 and 40, so week 2, 40 pencils. Week 4, 37, so that's going to be right there. Week 6, 34. And this pattern that is happening is going to continue all the way down. If you don't extend the pattern all the way down, that is probably a disservice to yourself, because you might need the pattern to go all the way down. Once again, this is a linear function, so that means when you draw your graph or you draw your function, it should be making a straightish line, right? Some of us might get a little curvy-wurvy because, we're not computers. But as long as it looks in the semblance of straight, you should be all right. Okay, now it says how many pencils will she have on week 19? So this is going to be replacing that x again. So we got y equals negative 3 over 2. I'm going to replace the x. Just give me a second. I want to write everything else that stays the same. Sorry. Keep going. We got y equals, I'm doing math in my head, so give me a second, bear with me. 17 divided by 2. All right, if you type this all the way to your calculator, which you probably have already done, and you already know the answer, so bear with me here. This should give you 14.5. Okay, I hope my math is mathing because the internet is cruel. Okay, as you can see, this is my work at the bottom here. Okay, so from here, we're going to level up and simplify the equation. So we got y equals negative 3 over 2, x minus 2 plus 40. Distribute, this is where you can't use a calculator. You got to actually use your big, giant, beautiful brains. And this gives us negative 3x plus 3 plus 40. And we get y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 43. In class, we got a different answer. At least in the year of 2025, because of the time we started with. So those of you that are watching, that's why it's different. Okay, so that's it simplified. Number next, we're going to write a simplified equation from the given information. So we are actually just given 2 points. So I don't know if your math teacher in Math 1 ever told you this, and if they didn't, this is a great tool. Doesn't matter what math you're learning. When in doubt, make a table. So this is my x, this is my y. Plug them in accordingly. This is my x, this is my y. Plug them in accordingly. And then as you go down the table, this is adding by 7. This is adding by 1. So this gives us y equals. I write it as just 7 because you can't put it as 7 over 1. That just looks silly. You're not going to see that on the ACTs, and I don't want that to happen to you. And then I got x plus 1 because this time we started at a negative 1. So I'm trying to make that a 0, which kind of was already done for us. So over here. And then that minus 3. And then it says to simplify, so that's where we're going to use our skills here and distribute and combine like terms. And we get y equals 7x plus 4. But if you look here, you already had a times 0 in that partner of 4. This x is a times 0 with a partner of 4. So you could have just looked at the graph, but I want you to use your math skills. All right, number next. We got x, we got y. I'm going to plug in our given information accordingly. Okay. No colors this time. This time we're adding by 6 on the y side. We'll use bare colors because we are in the Illinois. And we get plus 6 and minus 5. And a lot of you guys did super great at this in class, right? You knew how to do that. But you struggled with writing that slope. 6 over negative 5, which is 100%. I'm okay with that. You'll see it somewhat like this on the ACTs. Now here we started with just an x. I'm sorry, just as 0. So I can put just an x. And then its partner was this minus 5. And that's it. You would be done. It is simplified already because the times 0 was there. Number next. X, y, we got negative 3 and negative 1. We got 0 and negative 2. As we go down this table, we're getting more negative, so we are subtracting. Erasable pen for the win. We are subtracting by 1. Oops, sorry, I hit my camera again. Stop moving. And then we go from negative 3 to 0, so we are adding by 3. So when we write this equation, we got y equals negative 1 over 3. And then we start with a minus 3 here. So we got x. So to make a minus 3 into a 0, which was already told to us, we add 3. That's nice. Its number partner was minus 1. A lot of 3s, a lot of 1s in this one. That's a handful. We simplify. Negative 1/3 x distributing minus 1. And then we got this minus 1 we bring down. Combine like terms. We get y equals negative 1/3 x minus 2. And look at that. It was already given to you. You could have just wrote it from that second point. But I like to show all the things. All right, that's the end of this video. Glue this into your notebook. Have a great day.